They say every quiet American town hides its own kind of storm. In Maple Creek, ours started with a woman named Laura Bennett. She lived across the street from me. Small house, 3 kids, always waving from the porch with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her husband, David, was a long-haul trucker. He'd leave for weeks at a time, his rig gleaming in the sun like a promise he'd never keep. I was a journalist back then, chasing stories that didn't matter. Until Laura knocked on my door one cold February morning. Her voice trembled, but her words were sharp as broken glass. "I think my husband has another family," she said. At first, I thought it was paranoia. Too many lonely nights, too much silence echoing in her small house. But when she handed me the crumpled receipts and a photo of a woman holding a baby, David's eyes staring back from that tiny face, I knew it was real. We started digging. I helped her, partly as a neighbor, partly because I couldn't look away. The receipts led to another town, Harrisonville, Missouri. There, under the same name, same smile, David had built another home, another life, another lie. Laura didn't scream or cry. She just stood there, frozen, staring at the white fence that separated his 2 worlds. 15 years, she whispered. 15 years, and I never saw it. When she finally decided to confront him, she asked me to come along, not as a friend, but as a witness. The road trip to Harrisonville was silent, except for the sound of the windshield wipers fighting the rain. She held a small suitcase on her knees. Inside it was everything she had left: letters, wedding photos, and a worn-out Bible with his name on the first page. By the time we reached the address, the rain had stopped. The air smelled like wet asphalt and endings. A woman opened the door, young, tired, holding a toddler in her arms. Her face went pale the moment she saw Laura. And that's when everything changed. Because the woman at the door wasn't a stranger. She was Laura's younger sister. The confrontation. The door closed behind us with a hollow click. Silence. Laura's eyes never left the young woman holding the toddler. Her lips quivered. I didn't know," the young woman stammered. "I thought he loved me. I thought—" Laura took a deep breath, then looked at me. "Do you see this? 15 years, 3 kids, another on the way. And you?" The words hung in the air. The toddler gurgled, unaware of the tension pressing down like a storm cloud. David stepped out from the living room, shirt untucked, hair messy, eyes wide, as he realized the hurricane had arrived. "Laura, I can explain." But Laura didn't let him finish. She turned back to the young woman, her sister, and in a strange, quiet voice said, "You're not the enemy. He is. We were both deceived." For a moment, the room seemed to breathe differently. The walls, lined with pictures of birthdays and Christmas mornings, echoed with the absurdity of their shared betrayal. The young woman began to cry, finally, quietly, not from anger, but from relief. Relief that she wasn't alone in her pain. Laura reached out, touched her hand, and in that simple gesture, a fragile trust was born. I took notes in silence, my journalist's instinct screaming at me, but my heart weighed heavier than words. This wasn't just a story about betrayal anymore. It was about survival, resilience, and the strange, paradoxical bonds women can form when life turns upside down. By the time we left Harrisonville, Laura and her sister had made an unspoken pact. They would survive. Together. the redemption. Back in Maple Creek, Laura and Emily faced a world that had betrayed them. 3 kids, 1 on the way, no support, and a husband who had shattered everything. But something remarkable happened. Instead of letting bitterness consume them, they found each other. In Emily's tiny kitchen, they started baking. Simple cookies at first, then cakes, then elaborate pastries that tasted like hope. Word spread fast. Neighbors, friends, and strangers alike came for a taste. The women laughed together, cried together, and slowly, the business grew. 2 fates, they called it, a tribute to their shared journey from betrayal to trust. I visited them months later, notebook in hand, expecting a small operation. Instead, I found a bustling kitchen, orders stacked high, and the 2 women moving in perfect harmony. Their children ran between them, laughter echoing through the walls, proof that life had found a way to heal. Laura looked at Emily, then at me, and smiled. "We turned pain into purpose," she said. I knew then that this story wasn't about David, the lies, or the betrayal. It was about resilience, about women discovering that the worst lies could forge the strongest bonds, about a family rebuilt not by a man, but by courage, love, and the simple act of baking. Maple Creek had witnessed a storm, but from the wreckage rose something extraordinary. 2 women, 1 dream, and a bakery that would change lives. And as I left, notebook full of their story, I realized that life's bitterest moments can give birth to the sweetest triumphs.